Hi, I'm the Soundman. You may know me from several pieces of EoJ media where I introduce myself as the Soundman. Soundman, why are you in my update video? Where's G? Well, I'm now the director of Elements of Justice. Being the director, that means the project will now follow my vision. It means I set the deadlines, I control the content of the story, and I'm responsible for the quality assurance. And I think a lot of people put too much emphasis on who is the director in a project like this. It's not just about who's in charge. The output is thanks to the people who contribute to it. We have about 60 people right now, so I'd like to shout out some people for the stuff they've done for us. I'd like to shout out Pretty, who was HR for a period, but who has also done a lot of voice acting. She did the first Bonds of Justice. Overall, she's been a joy to be with, and she's been a good friend to all of us. I'd like to thank Arts, who does a great job interacting one-on-one with all our voice actors. There's a lot of them, and I can't find the time. She makes sure that we have a good product, that the VAs deliver on time, that they can get in touch with their inner characters. I'd like to thank Jarvie, who's done a phenomenal job with reorganizing the way we draft the story and how we write scripts. He's largely to thank for how we've been getting episodes out so quick. It's because we can draft and revise the episodes quick. Credit to Bruno for wrestling with the worst program in history, Adobe Animate. Video editing is really challenging, it can get tedious, but he always delivers good scenes, and he makes sure our series is well edited. I'd like to thank Shannon, who has touched every area of production at some point, and everything she touches is gold. Everyone knows it. I'd like to thank Null for her fantastic work ethic. She's been very open to suggestions and feedback, which helps us improve our art quality. But the most important quality in any kind of artist is how much they're willing to grow. I'd like to thank Connor, who has written an enormous amount of programming for us, and the project would undoubtedly not exist at this point without him. And to everyone else I didn't name, even the team members who are no longer a part of this team, I'd like to thank them too. Anyone who put even a little bit of themselves into this, it's thanks to them that we're still going after nearly 5 years. But above all else, I need to thank Mr. G, our previous director. He was the person who whipped this project into shape back in Case 2. He helped me to turn this from a bundle of disorganized ideas that a friend group came up with into this streamlined thing. There was a time that we were only getting 2 episodes out a year. He made deadlines for us so that we could get things done. He challenged us to increase the quality. He's really given us something to shoot for, and I'm proud to inherit it. And I'm grateful, because I was able to cooperate with him and gain this position of authority as a director peacefully. There's no animosity between us, and it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. For anyone worried where G is going to be going, he's sticking around. He's taking up an owner role, which means he'll still hold on to all the money and the channel, but he's letting me take the lead. You'll largely see him on the fan server, at conventions, and doing community outreach. I'll just be right here on the channel. So some stuff about me and EoJ. I watched the first update the morning it was posted, and I was watching the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 trailer at 3 a.m., way back when that was the most anticipated game in history. And I watched this unvoiced black background video with kooky sad music about how hard Al was working on the first episode, and I thought that's never gonna happen. And I left and I closed the tab. I only remember this because I found out sometime between 2021 and 22 that that video was from Algivas, and by the time I remembered that, I was already working on the project for a few years. So joke's on me, I now run the show. As director, I'm now responsible for everything. That might sound like a lot, but I've been doing everything for a long time. I've always lent my voice and my advice whenever necessary to help increase our quality, to help ease the suffering that naturally comes up when you have a project of this magnitude. And let's make no mistake, this project has had its bad days. For anyone who has their own team or is looking to get their own project going, it's naive to think that good leadership means that there will never be any problems. Good leadership is about solving problems quickly and reducing any harm. So naturally, this big project has had big problems. We're just really good at problem solving and taking care of our people. I believe people have a positive opinion of me. I'm always trying to look out for people and make sure we're not breaking them down, trying to do something that should ultimately be fun. I started as an audio engineer. I got into graphic design late Case 1, early Case 2. I got into programming early Case 2, writing my first auto generator. When Connor joined, we took off with the programming. I've done video editing off and on again to cover people who had to drop or couldn't do it for one reason or another. I got into rigging when it was direly necessary to change our rigging standards to help the video editors. I was often the person on the ground floor for quality improvements because I understood every technical aspect of the project. And I understood how the pipelines worked, largely because I'd built them from the ground up. All the way back when I joined, I figured out a standardized naming convention for our voice lines. That might sound small, but that naming convention allows us to have automatic line splicing. It helps us generate entire episodes automatically. Setting things up properly at the beginning has paid dividends for where we are now. So I know what EoJ is, and I can break it down like a machine, and I can build the specific parts, and I'm good at overseeing the human elements of our operations. Which is why I'm here now, because I'm quite good at it. Some people will see this leadership change and they'll get worried. Isn't it strange we went from Al to G to me? Well, who's next? Well, to be honest, there'll probably be no leadership change after me. I care a lot about this project, and I'm quite confident saying that there's nobody else who cares about this the way that I do. I've suffered a lot of bullshit for this project. I've lost a lot of sleep, gotten into arguments about how we need to do things, and I've always been here for it. So I'm going to stick it out to the end. If Case 5 has to be made with construction paper, googly eyes, and glue, I'll be the one there doing that. I'll do it alone if I have to. I'll do it for 0 views, but I'll get the project done. So let's talk about current EoJ stuff. Let's talk about why we're on hiatus. Why are we on hiatus? Well, it's because I moved. A few months ago I got a job, and I became full-time not too long after that. And I just spent a lot of time talking about how much I do for the project, so of course when I got the job, all of my free time went away. And I feel a little guilty. I like the project. I like making sure people are happy and taken care of, and I haven't had time. Until now. I live very close to my work right now. My job has stabilized, and I have a tangible work-life balance. I have a solid social network, and I feel the most accomplished and solid I've ever felt in my entire life. And each day is getting better, so it's time to get back into the project. With all this new positive energy, it's more appropriate that I lead it, because I do have more energy than a lot of people on the project right now, and I believe I can help that out. Regarding the hiatus, we're a silly My Little Pony fan project. It's really not the end of the world if we go away for a while. We'll be on hiatus until 2025, and we'll be coming back with an episode backlog, so we'll have room to breathe once we start releasing episodes. We won't be working month to month. And if anyone thinks it was unrealistic of us to do episodes every month, it was actually extremely accomplishable, and we intend to keep releasing an episode a month when we return. We only broke down like this because of the technical infeasibility of me rendering the episodes now that I'm full-time. So let's talk about rendering, because that's the biggest issue right now. The techno-jargon explanation is that for Case 2 we used Swivel for rendering, but there are features in Animate 2020 and beyond that Swivel doesn't encode correctly. Swivel also kind of sucks. It bugs out a lot, it runs out of memory, it hates advanced layers. For a while we were thinking about forking it and adding support to these things, but no one on our programming team likes hacks, and we refused to learn. So if we can't use Swivel, what else can we use? Well, there's the internal renderer for Animate. If you go up and you export a video, it compiles your FLA into a SWF file, the SWF file into a MOV, and the MOV gets transcoded into the file format that you actually requested. If you're technologically astute, you already see the problem. MOVs are unoptimized, uncompressed image sequences. And with how long our episodes can be, we're talking maybe 1.5 terabytes of MOVs for just one episode. We'll just buy more storage. Yeah, the problem isn't storage. We have that kind of space available. It's the time investment. Even with a fast disk, even with a solid state, we spend a lot of time waiting for the SWFs to turn into MOVs, and for the MOVs to write to disk. And we're not perfect, so a lot of the time, we end up rendering something that has bugs in it, and we need to go back to editing, and then wait, and then re-render. That's more time, that's more storage, that's more disk operations. If you want any spoilers about the length of the series, we have quite a ways to go. I work full-time, and I cannot devote myself to waiting for a progress bar to reach 100%. So we need a different solution. And in our situation, the correct solution is just do it yourself. Thanks to Connor, There's a repository called CSXFL, which is a C# implementation of the uncompressed Flash file structure. We can load Flash documents and run JSFL equivalent code without having any version of Animate, without even having it open. And it's much faster. Some operations are over 1,000 times faster. Since we have this at our disposal, we're just going to build a rendering engine into CSXFL. It won't use Swift files at all. It will just be a direct FLA to SVG image sequence renderer, and then it'll get transcoded into your desired output. We have someone working on this right now, Geodash, our recent automation hire. For every future episode of EoJ, look to him and congratulate him, because the series wouldn't exist without his efforts. So the long and short is, give us 3 months and we can render episodes again. We'll be able to render them faster than ever, and it will become much more feasible for us to keep going at the speed that we've been trying. Now Soundman, why did you put so little effort in this video? The presentation's terrible. I don't care. All these supplemental videos are really just people talking about things, so here I am talking about things. Being the director, I'll be the one hosting pre-premieres, director's commentaries, whatever we end up doing. But the visual effort in those things will likely be minimal going forward. I just don't care about making those things look good. It's effort that we could be spending on the main series, or honestly, just resting. I have no interest in community outreach, interviews, conventions, or anything. If EoJ does anything, it'll be G doing those things. Now that you know the project is doing well, I wanted to spend some life advice to anyone watching this. It's unconventional advice, and I've noticed a lot of people can't integrate it properly. I wish the show had done a more like this so people could understand it better. It's not cruel to decide that somebody shouldn't be in your life anymore. All human relationships are fragile, and that's the reason why friendship is so magical, because it's a stable thing and you can keep coming back to all these people, and you know they're always going to be there for you. But people can change. Maybe they reveal their true colors, and sometimes a friend can become an enemy. And it's not wrong to have enemies, we all have people who oppose us. But you have the power to keep people you hate out of your life, and that's the same kind of magic as keeping people you love in your life. This sounds incredibly basic, but it's very hard for a lot of people. I think there's been a lot of social conditioning that it's rude or inhuman to distance yourself from people you can't be close to, but it's your right. For me, it's far more rude and inhuman to insist that everyone should get along and that people need infinite retries to reconnect. A lot of damage has been done to me personally by giving out second chances to people who just didn't deserve it. And I'm not advocating against forgiveness either. Forgiveness, that's up to you. You choose who you forgive or not. And no one should really get to tell you that you have to forgive someone or that you can't forgive that person. Again, that's for you to decide. What I'm trying to say is, I've noticed people are very quick to reduce human beings down to personality traits and make a decision about whether we should keep them or toss them out of our lives. If someone's offended you terribly, please remember they're just a human being working with about the same information as you. Sometimes that helps put things into perspective and we can get a step closer to forgiveness. And sometimes it doesn't. But if you're going to break a tie, do it with the full awareness that you're doing that to a human being. And that's not cruel either. But we can't reduce people down to their actions and then be stunned when we act so sharply to one another. At the end of the day, we all make our own choices, and all of ethics is just trying to build a framework where we feel comfortable with our choices. And so ends this silly little update video over cartoon horses. I'll see you in a few months.